A year ago, I was tasked with organising the supply of protective equipment to a very large public sector organisation. Hello, I'm Adam Cowper-Smith. I'm a soft facilities services consultant and interim manager. I trade as soft service solutions. I have a real enthusiasm for innovation, efficiency, productivity, sustainability and the environment. Innovation really can bring the cleaning industry into the 21st century. There were over 350 sites with more than 400 people inputting information into a single spreadsheet. Now you might think that sounds easy, but when you're dealing with an organisation as big as that, everyone has their own opinion of how they can input the information. So for example, we were supplying a whole range of equipment from hand sanitizers, gloves, face coverings, eye protection, and later on floor signage. And everyone seemed to have their own way of putting in the information. With the hand sanitizer alone, the sizes ranged from 50 millilitres up to 5 litres. And the way that people put that into a cell in a spreadsheet had its own difficulties, because they would put 10 times 50 millilitre, 10 times 50 millilitre bottles, 10 times 50 millilitre BTLs. And of course, when you try and do a formula for that, it will not read all of that information. Certainly with my skills it wouldn't. What I had to do was lock the formulas down within those cells so that the only information that the individuals could put in there was what I needed them to, which was just the quantities. The information for the bottle sizes and everything was in the heading, so I really didn't need to do anything apart from just put the bottle sizes. What I'm going to show you on the screen in a minute is what I did to lock those down. When we first started using these spreadsheets, we were getting them in all sorts of different formats, including Word documents, and at one point it took me 4 days to extract all the data I needed, because it was in so many different formats, into a single spreadsheet. And this is what I developed so that we could be using it through a Teams channels, so that 400 people had access to it from one single source. This is the spreadsheet that I was working from, and as you can see, there are 13 regions. So if I click on there, you can see that there are 13 regions there. I've anonymized this so that it doesn't give any information away. They all went across the sheet in several columns by zone with each of the items that the people were ordering up. Then the totals were all added up into these columns here, so that the supplier could just very quickly total up what was needed for each particular site. As I say, there were over 350 sites ordering and 400 people inputting information on a weekly basis. The spreadsheet was taken down on a Thursday lunchtime, and the orders were processed so that they were delivered from the Monday the following week. And then we started the cycle again. To stop people putting information into the cells that I didn't want them to, I just locked them down with the normal cell protection. When they clicked on the cell, and if they tried to put anything in there, they got that the cell was protected. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to unprotect the spreadsheet and hide some of the columns so that I can demonstrate to you the data validation process that I used to protect the cells. So what I did, I set it by zone, and I will select this zone 1. Now all of these cells I can put a numerical value in, and it will let me put it in there. If I put any lettering in there, it won't let me do it. Then I get a message that comes up and says that you can't go any further, basically. The cells are also restricted to 200, so if they try and put any higher value than 200 in, they get a stop message there as well. As you can see, as I click through the cells, it gives instructions in every single cell that they can order from of what they're ordering and the quantities that they can order. I did this by going to the validation tab, so data validation, and you select a whole number, and then you can actually set the range. So between 1 and 200, so between 1 and 200 of this item they can order up. The message that you can see there is that it says obviously observe social distancing, and this is done on the input message, and it tells the people what to do, what the maximum is. Well, then you can select it so that it shows the message when they click on the cell. On the final tab, you've got the error warning. So if they've tried to put in a higher number or wording, it will tell them what they've got to do. We really did have to be that autocratic to make people just put in the information we wanted. Now, one final tip on this is that once you set all of these cells up individually, what you can do is highlight all of those cells across one line, not by clicking on the side here to highlight the whole line, just the cells along here, then copy and paste them in. So just run the cells down like that. It will overwrite the numbers that I've got in there. I'll just undo that so that I've got the values in there. It took a while to set up, but once we had a system that really worked. I hope this has been helpful. It certainly saved me an awful lot of time and effort. When I finished my contract with the company in August, I handed this over to one of their managers and trained her up how to use it. And as far as I'm aware, they're still using it now. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, please like and share my post. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like my video and subscribe to the channel.